Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play HOI4 Japan and Kaiserreich. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, hopefully soon, is it June or July? When we can actually do the next focus here. June. So, in about a month and a half, we'll be able to do the National Security Act. Hopefully, we need it to fail. So that you will just kind of coup, which seems nice. Does it matter, like... Only if it passes does democracy actually get defended. So we want it to fail, so we can have a strong emperor. Hirohito. We got 51 political power or 51% party support. Like most of these guys over here, like they just aren't very tough. So what I'm hoping is that we can pretty easily just smash our way through basically every Chinese faction, if that's possible. Of course, we're probably going to need to do some naval invasions out of Taiwan at some point. Not against the defending government, obviously. They don't have a port, or well, I mean they have one port, but it's like 4 provinces away from where we start off from. Like a naval invasion of Qing also seems like a good idea if we can just go from Port Arthur into here. Smash our way to get to the Shaanxi clique and to cut Beijing off from the rest of the Qing Empire. Because I'm sure they'll have a lot of troops in this region, and if we can get that done, seems pretty good. Naval leadership protests army bias, and a recent investor in policies benefiting the army has angered the leadership of our sea fleet. Some of the more prominent figures expressed disapproval in a private meeting earlier today. Tell them they'll have to wait and see. So there's no matter what. It's strange, because again, you can do as many air reforms as you want. And the Navy doesn't care. So we'll do some naval shit. And focus on our army and Navy reforming as well. I'm not too sure how exactly this works. It looks like we get artillery research for free. We no longer have divided army. I'm not even too sure what the modifier did. I mean, that seems good for us. Again, no freedoms for anybody. Nobody gets freedoms in Japan at the moment. Friction within the Japanese left. A shock to the assassination of Kyoto Sen initially united the Shaki Tensoto in solidarity against the White Terror. The unity did not last long. The party was originally structured as a coalition of various social democrats and syndicalist organizations, all united in their goal of socialization of the economy structure within the proletariat at its foundation. Before his death, Kyoto has guided the party away from ideological clashes. But deprived of its leader, the party was forced to face the question of its precise ideological position, and infighting soon began. Throughout the spring of 1936, national syndicalists called the Nikoki, the Japanese labor clique, adopted totalism and vigorously expanded its membership, not only inside the party at expense of the moderate Shinki, but also outside the party, notably within the Saikiki-controlled... Look, I don't really read Japanese. Nihon Rodo Sodome, Japanese Generation Federal Labor... Soon an open fight between the two groups broke out, run by labor bureaucrat establishment, turned to yada yada yada. This doesn't matter because I don't believe there's any way for these guys to actually take power, so who cares? Also, like, they're the same thing, so who... It doesn't matter. You guys have 3% support between... Well, you guys have 5% support between all 4 of your little wings. You do not matter. And again, I don't believe there's any way for them to actually take control in Japan. So who cares? Who cares what they think? It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess like disability modifiers make sense to maybe tell me about those, but they don't have any way of actually achieving power in Japan. So who cares what they have to say? We got a lot of reinforcements. Of course, right now we want to focus on reinforcements first. Our army is pretty well trained, which is nice. How many marine divisions do we have? We have 6 divisions of marines. Like, they're not fantastic. They're small units, but the May 15th incident. The Prime Minister has been assassinated. Radical officers connected to the Nakobi broke into the official residence and shot Prime Minister Inuki. They claim they did it to avenge the death of Kumato Sen. Okay, maybe that's a good reason for why you give me these pop-ups. And the murder of workers in Nagati. The incident has greatly shocked the nation, and the Admiralty Board, mortified by the incident, has already begun to court-martial and a deep investigation into radical activities within the Navy. Appoint Suki Kashobo to replace Inuke. 1% stability goes down, political power gain. Construction speed's down a little bit, but could be worse. Are you the person who needs to be in charge for the coup to happen? No. Because this is a general, you're an admiral. So, like, I put the admiral in charge of the government, and yet they're still upset that they think I'm favoring the army. Seems a bit strange, but okay. Why have 3 totalist leaders? Again, like, it doesn't make too much sense to me, because you can't actually switch these guys out. Like, I can't pick who is in the government anymore. At least I don't believe so. Like, they changed it so you can't just change people however you see fit, unfortunately. The New Zealand crisis. The crisis appears to be deepening within the Australian Union, as news of organizations report severing ties between Australian state and New Zealand. Foreign New Zealand for the new syndicalist government has never been strong, and reports that the state offered a safe haven for new guard paramilitary forces fleeing the mainland offer. Okay, so have they gone independent then? Yes, they have. Will there be a war between the two countries? I'm not too sure. I don't believe there's a way for us to actually invade New Zealand directly. We can only invade Australia. And again, I don't believe the Entente is actually going to be invading Australia anytime soon, seeing as they haven't done anything. No, never mind. They're now at war with New Zealand. Where is Australia in here? Yeah, we can embargo them. I guess that's not actually an invasion, per se. New Zealand is not in a faction. I'm sure they will join the Entente. Can I get like a military construction speed upgrade going? 10%. Why would I ever take these for 10% when I get this and also get the construction speed upgrades? I'm not too sure. I mean, breakthrough I think is always pretty nice. But right now we're going to go for you. I mean, there's also construction speed for our civilian factories up as well, so that's not bad. By the way, how is 25% minus 2%? 22%? I'm not too sure. I'm not a mathematician. Okay, so now that you're done, concentrated industry is what we're going to go for. What are you going to do? Russia. Yeah, now you're in the Entente. Russia does not exist. At peace. They have to be at war with Germany. So if you're at war with Germany, you might do something. Anti-Kolchak coup. Of course, we'd want to make them into a Japanese lapdog. One of the following must be true. It's complete a supreme ruler. Build up the welfare state. And it has to be before January 1st, 1939. So them being at war with Germany that early on seems very unlikely. National Security Act. Let's pass that. Well, we're not. No, we want it to fail. We want it to fail. And then the government will coup. And the emperor will be in charge of everybody. And everybody will be happy. And nobody could ever be upset with that turn of events. Make a little bit more artillery here. I think everything seems fine. Let's put like 9 here, just so we can slowly train this up. We don't need to deploy them right away. The Restorationist and the Centralist. The Anishinaabe Restoration faction is a political ideology promoted by radical junior officers, characterized by its anti-capitalism, anti-oligarchism, and anti-parliamentarism, usually coming from the underprivileged and humble backgrounds. Is that the one that we were going to put in charge? No, it's not. It's none of these. Okay. Underprivileged, humble backgrounds. Many of these officers have experienced poverty from childhood and observed what they considered the evil influence of favoritism. They even believe that the establishment has hijacked power from the emperor and is leading the nation into the abyss. Restorationist solution is to sweep out the ruling establishment and restore all power back to the emperor. And from there, the complete national reform was to be initiated. Against them are the Chiusia, central faction, who are the closest to central military leadership, who support a cooperation with the establishment and the militarization of politics. Yeah, so you are... I mean, it's a 10% stability modifier. As opposed to only 5% for being democratic. All I have to say there. White Sun over... We get that event every single game. It doesn't really matter for us. Political blueprint, military centrism. Like, we're not doing this stuff anyways. That's if there's no support for the emperor or for the democracy. Emperor did not support the government. Okay, well, the emperor is going to be in charge of everybody soon enough, so it should be good. How many men do you guys have? 9 to 49, 7 to 24. Like, they don't have that many men, so I'm trying to think. If we invade China, well, how do we want to go about it? An obvious solution is to just massively attack through the north. Through the Vietnamese government, through Qing, take over the rest. The alternative is to invade using Taiwan as basically a launching pad. Probably launch our invasion into the Lengyao clique. And then move into Yunnan, Hunan, and whatever is left of the left Camp T, if it still exists. Or Anjing. Depending if they are who remains. It's not 1937 quite yet, so we can hold off a little bit here. I mean, if there's anything actually good to research. You know what? Light tank. We'll upgrade you guys. We are going to be building at least a handful of them. At least for the, well, now. So, Mussolini has taken charge in, Italy. 3 military factories. Let's go for one more into light tank production. And kind of just go for more military factories. Just military factories all day, every day. So let's see. You've got Totalist. Okay. Bologna shows the Reichspakt. You've gone Totalist. We don't know if the British... No, Tom Mann, I think they're staying Syndicalist. Anything other than that, though, I'm not too sure what's happening. Poland has a new king. A Saxon king. So they can actually join Germany pretty early. Okay. It looks like Finland... it looks like none of the Nordic countries are going to be joining up with the Entente. Or joining up with the Reich... Or International. So they're probably in a pretty weakened game right now. The Dutch are joining that, join the Reichspakt. You guys are going with the Nationalist. The Young Tibet Party. I don't know. Is Tibet considered China for the sake of the invasion events? I'm not too sure. Same with Mongolia. I don't know if they are considered as well either. What's everybody else doing? You've got Social Democratic, which should mean that nobody is going to be doing a invasion here. And what are you doing, America? You're deploying the National Guard. Okay. Mexico has gone Eternal Autocrat. Brazil looks like they're still kind of a republic. We'll see if these guys end up fighting at some point soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But overall, I don't think anything too crazy is really happening in the wider world of Kaiserreich at the moment. I mean, if I look at the Chinese factions, like, does this tell me anything? Khamti leader, Anjou leader, Zili aligned, Federalist leader. Hunan is Zili aligned, Anjou aligned. I mean, as soon as we attack, actually, if we attack China, I believe they might all unify in a faction against us, which does have some problems there for sure. Attack and defense plus 5.5% recruit population. I think that's pretty good. Or just attack and defense for the artillery going up. Well, it's either organization or the attack. Go school of mass combat. The port for the CIFRC. The province of Sichuan has long been subject to food insecurity. Recently, however, the problem has greatly worsened and the province has officially entered a famine. Philanthropists around the world have begun to assemble conferences to help the province and has organized internationally. 30 political power I don't think is really costly. But at the same time, I don't give them financial support. There we go. Still no motion on the floor of the legation councils. The National Security Act. The notorious Peace Preservation Act was introduced in early 1924 by the Tanaka regime amidst the Red Scare following the Kanato anarchist uprising in September 1923 and a cynical assassination attempt on the then Crown Prince Hirohito in December of the same year. The act drastically limited civil rights and symbolized the draconian rule of General Tanaka. It was repealed when the regime was brought down by the Constitutional Restoration of 1926, but Prime Minister Suzuki Kisobo wants to reintroduce the act, albeit heavily moderated and renamed the National Security Act. He has met with strong opposition even within his own cabinet, and public opinion has dropped to a new low. But he believes the reintroduction is necessary to counter the rising tide of syndicalism, and he is not alone in his opposition, or not alone in his opinion. Cross-party parliamentary group led by Lakana Chikao and the anyway, it's we can either defeat the act. We won't defend democracy and by any means. The act is forced through. If we force through the act, we've defended democracy. But we want it to fail. We still gotta wait for the longest winter. I'm assuming that's going to be an event probably later this year. So that's, I guess we'll like do a naval reform just so the admirals will be slightly less annoyed. I don't know if they do anything. Like, I don't know if the naval administration can actually coup our government either. There's a lot of coups happening in Japan at the moment, but Fenian sends aid to Sichuan. Pressure them to use the Japanese flag, or they can send their own flag. Our allies decide to send grain. Pressure them to use the Japanese flag. Use our flag, it'll save you some hardships. I don't know if that has any actual bearing on anything else in the future. It might not. Is there anything we want to upgrade our navy to do? I mean, some of this stuff is nice to have. Just like something like this, 77, like 31 days. It makes our ships a little bit less likely to get destroyed. They've accepted our demands. Thank you. 25 political power. We are at negative 50. Which does seem like that might have some consequences in the future, but I think right now we can safely ignore that. Okay, there's war in Arabia. Doesn't concern us. Okay, apparently it's going to happen on December 20th. It's good that it says right here when that'll happen. I don't know if we can get through 2 more reforms, though. Marine technology and transport models. A free dockyard. No, that's 3 dockyards, just in 3 different states. I think naval expansion seems like a good choice. Assuming, yeah, we can basically just finish naval expansion in time. Like, do you have to start this, or do you think this just automatically, finishes? I'm not too sure. I mean, stability, 32%, honestly, it's not that bad. Like, things could be significantly worse when it comes to our stability. So you are now at war. Does Ukraine leave the Reichspakt? If they go for the nationalist? No, I think it's actually if they only go for the Eldorado. Defending and abuse our flag. Dire news. It appears that the defenders abused our trust and swapped out our flag of their own as soon as the grain barges left Wuhan. Okay, so I've lost. I mean, I'm still a net +5. Still +5 net. Unsurprisingly, the failure to pass the National Security Act has created a backlash against the Prime Minister. The conservatives and the bureaucrats who have backed the bill feel betrayed by Suzaku's backing down. The House of Peers and Private Privacy Council, which is appointed by the government, has lost patience with the cabinet. 1% stability loss. We can start deploying more troops, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. I kind of want to just have them sit in reserve, and if we need to, like, deploy 24 divisions at once. Especially since right now, I'm at 24 with both of my frontline armies, and I don't think I want to put more guys into, like, this ground defensive force. Since I don't think they, really need more men at the moment. We have sent some volunteers to somebody. Yeah, we don't really have that much information about these guys. I mean, I could start creating an agency. We could get another 10% debuff there. Yeah, we already got this. You're 5 years ahead of time. You know, torpedo attack plus 20%. Oh, I really wish I had my naval experience here. Unfortunately, I don't have at this exact moment. Anything else that's kind of just like free upgrades? Naval mines. I mean, I do have mine laying. You know what? Let's get magnetic detectors anyways. I'm not too sure who exactly, like, not in China, of course. Our navy is not going to matter that much. It's really once we start going to war with Germany, East Asia, that it's going to matter significantly more. Of course, we want the Indo-Chinese Union to win. We want Indo-Chinese Union to win, so as soon as we do our invasion of Indochina, we can invade them without having to involve the Germans at all. So you know what? With that in mind, how many men can I send to volunteer? 1 division. Okay, well, we'll send in a single infantry division. And we'll see how that goes. But I think for right now, this is going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks to everybody for watching. My name is Anthem. If you enjoyed, run a thumbs up. Not enjoyed, you can always thumb down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.